The story of Pan-Africanism started with black Americans, African Americans in the United States in the 1920s and 1930s. And of course, as we stated, there are people who wanted to go back to Africa and who felt that Africans were being disadvantaged in the United States. They thought that if Africans could go back to Africa, the exposure could enable them to develop Africa. And indeed, Pan-Africanism was about developing a philosophy that could bring Africa to speed, to make them similar to what the Western countries were then. And this is the 1920s, 1930s, and there was a felt difference in the continents. Of course, it didn't succeed, but somebody who came on board very quickly was Nkwame Nkurumah. Nkwame Nkurumah studied in the US, and he got fired up by this need for Pan-Africanism, and he left the US to go to England then, to go and study, where he did, I think, a master's degree, and he joined that group of people who were attempting to see if they could have a successful Pan-African movement. And they even held a conference in England, the first conference for Pan-Africanism. That group went ahead to do a number of conferences for Pan-African women. It's not surprising that the POWER, Pan-African Women Organization, was actually registered before the OAU in 1961. OAU was registered in 1963. So Nkwame Nkurumah, the young enthusiast, wanted to see Africa develop, went back to Ghana, and he got into the struggle for independence of Ghana. He got into a group of influencers in Ghana who were trying to struggle for Ghana's independence. And Nkurumah successfully won the election for the independence of Ghana. Initially, he became prime minister, but finally, in 1957, he led Ghana, Africa south of the Sahara, the first country to gain independence from colonial Britain. At the time of independence, Nkwame Nkurumah actually wanted to stop Ghanaians' independence. He said, we cannot be independent when the rest of Africa is not independent. So he almost took that decision that Ghana should not be independent because he felt that it was time for Africa to get independent. Nkwame Nkurumah had that desire, that burning desire to see that all of Africa could get independence from the colonial masters. So he went ahead and got Ghanaians' independence, but thereafter, all his mind was about African independence and about Pan-Africanism, a concept he had picked from the United States and in England during his time as a student in those two countries. So he arranged various meetings in Ghana and outside Ghana to see that Africans could be able to come together. And it's not surprising that Nkwame Nkurumah orchestrated the first meeting which finally led to the establishment of the Organization of African Unity, the OAU, in Addis Ababa in 1963. It's believed that he went overboard. As a Ghanaian president, the president of a country in Africa, he now felt that he could actually be the person to get African countries to become independent. I mean, he didn't have that capacity, but that was the feeling, the enthusiasm that he had to see that Africa would come together to unite. It was not surprising that they clashed with the Mwalimu Julius Nyerere of Tanzania. Nyerere was very instrumental in the independence struggle in Tanzania. There were two countries, Tanganyika and Zanzibar, which unified into Tanzania. Nyerere's view was, let there be regional groupings before we think about an African-wide country. He thought that it was not going to be easy, for instance, to unite the Anglo-African countries with the Francophone countries, with the Arab countries. So his view was, why don't we start off with what we have at the moment before we really go out to see that we talk about an all-African movement. But this was Nkurumah's enthusiasm. He really wanted African independence, African union so bad that he did everything, spent resources in it, called meetings, galvanized people to see that Africa could unite. His enthusiasm led him to making mistakes in Ghana. But definitely what he felt, the projects he started, were intended to see that, yes, Ghana could become independent and Ghana could be the basis for the liberation of other countries. Nkwame Nkurumah should be remembered as a Pan-Africanist, should be remembered as somebody who was enthusiastic about Pan-Africanism. And it's not surprising that despite the coup that led to his downfall and his embarrassment, his shaming in Ghana and elsewhere in Africa, Nkwame Nkurumah emerges today as a true Pan-Africanist and somebody whom we can learn from.